What's up, fight fans? This is Kurtaville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Vasily Lomachenko and Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Now, you might ask, what do these guys have in common? And I'll say this. These guys have in common 2 losses this year. Both of these guys were... I know Lomachenko was defeated before Deontay Wilder. He took his first L. But Lomachenko went on a long streak without being beaten. Okay? And these guys were very victorious for a long extent of time. But this year have gave them a whole different change of events. They both lost and they both suffered the injuries. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay? Now, Deontay Wilder and Lomachenko. Lomachenko just had surgery. Okay, you've seen the stitches. You've seen he was in a hospital. There was a doctor that performed that particular surgery. You've seen him wheeled out. You've seen a lot of coverage dealing with Lomachenko's surgery. Now, before anybody gets started, this is not an excuse. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm not condoning this as an excuse. What I'm saying is we actually had a surgery. Okay? Surgery was conducted. There's no doubt in your mind that Lomachenko had surgery lately, like right away. Just like the news said, the news reported. I don't know about the backstory with that. I don't buy all that, because I think it's an excuse at the end of the day. But one thing we do know, Lomachenko had surgery, okay? And he's healing from surgery off his right shoulder, and whatever the pre-existing injury was, he got it fixed. I don't know if it's in the same area. I heard it was in the same area that he hurt his other one with. That's a bad sign off the top, but we know for sure that he got surgery. Now, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder said that he needed surgery. Said that I think he said that he heard it during the fight. Same thing Lomachenko said. But what's the difference? They lost. Now, the question was, now you could argue that Wilder said he hurt his arm or something before the first Fury fight. Now, he did say that, or broke his hand or arm or something like that. He injured something. That's why he couldn't throw that punch or whatever. So you can't say that he only used it, but he did draw. Okay, he did have a draw. So maybe he was just saying that to cover up the point that, hey, I couldn't throw it as much. But you damn sure landed and you carried that punch on into the power on in and through the 12th round, which you still had to this day. So that's not an excuse, or should I say that's not a reason for you saying that, because it doesn't explain the power that you still have. And if you compare the power that you did not have when you hit Fury with that right hand, well, most people went down. Like you said, that could explain where the power went, maybe, if you were looking. But what doesn't make sense is we've seen Deontay Wilder in a cast before. We've seen him with multiple injuries before. We've seen the doctor. We've seen them throwing and shoving needles and iron shit into his hand. We saw that when his hand was swole up like a swollen pancake, right? He looked like he had the hamburger helper hand where it was that swollen, okay? And we've seen what the doctor done to it. He had a special behind it. You can research it. You can look it up. What's the difference between that time or those times and this time? Just stay with me, people. You don't hear, you don't see, you haven't heard. You've heard a lot, but you haven't seen Deontay Wilder with any pictures leaked that, hey, he went to a hospital, he had surgery. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. And I know a lot of people will protect, why y'all believe that Lomachenko had surgery and not Deontay Wilder? Okay, I knew that was coming. You know why? Because Wilder hasn't had anything. Why would you, first of all, if you're telling people that you had surgery, What doesn't make sense is you were ready to fight in July. And the only reason you say you didn't fight was because of the coronavirus. Wrong. The reason that you shouldn't have said was because you just had surgery. And that's what he told PBC. He said that out of his own mouth. Okay, and that's similar to what Lomachenko said out of his own mouth. I ain't injured. This is the first time I've been injury-free. Lies. Right? Unless he was lying about having the injury, which he had a surgery on something, right? But I don't think that reflected the fight. So, Wilder said the same. Well, I had a shoulder injury. He didn't have to say he had any injury. But the point I'm trying to make is, people, we did not see any evidence of Wilder having something would have leaked somewhere. TMZ would have seen something. They said he had a surgery, but I mean, it's contradicting things that don't add up. Now we're saying, well, he hasn't been training at all because he's concerned with what? With him having surgery. Okay, so the question is, when did he have it? So you see the difference between Lomachenko and all the coverage. And he lost. He took an L. People still look at that as an excuse, but we know he had one. Wilder, it was just everything was so private that we didn't see anything. See, seeing is believing now, because we don't even really believe words no more, because the words that people say is somebody else coming with something that's saying, no, that ain't true. That didn't happen. Right? He said he needed surgery, but he said he was ready in July. He said the next couple months. So how the fuck will you be ready that quick? You'd still have to train for the third fight. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. So when did you get it? Did you get it in July? It's okay, fine. July, August. Because remember that same time Eddie Hearn said, well, fuck, if he had the surgery in July, that means how could he be ready? Because it has to heal. He has to give it time to heal before he goes back into training. Because you can't fight when something's healing. You can't train when something's healing. Anybody knows that. So that's July, August, September. Okay, this is October. Okay, so he's supposed to be in superhuman shape. Okay, so where did he have time when did the surgeries take place? That's what I really want to know, because it's like it's not really adding up. Because we don't know what to believe over there. But one thing I can say, Lomachenko's situation and Wilder's situation differs in the evidence of something actually happening. We know for a fact Lomachenko had surgery, but we don't know really for a fact that Wilder. We heard he had a surgery, but that don't mean he had one. He was in superhuman, but then you hear something else, then you hear something else, and we don't see pictures. But my problem is, this is my problem. Why is Wilder so secret about a particular bicep surgery that he said that he had or he needed? Whereas before, when he had those injuries, he had no problems showing people shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. I think things over there was secret and private for a reason, because they had no explanation for a lot of this shit that was going on and going around. You know what I'm saying? Did he actually have surgery? That's the question. We know Lomachenko had his. You know what I mean? We know he had a hand surgery. We know he had a torn bicep a while back, a couple years ago. We knew that. There was no private secret surgery with doctors that don't even exist. But then yet you want people to believe, the people that follow Wilder, that he had dents in his head and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you want us to believe that, but then yet you can't tell us when he had surgery on something that he out of his own mouth said that I had. Somebody please explain that to me, because I'm finding it real hard to really see where this surgery was conducted. So you can say whatever you can say about Lomachenko. Are they using it as an excuse? Hell yeah, they're using it as an excuse. But at the end of the day, at least he had one. That tops every... You notice those guys over there talk about Manny Pacquiao and comparing Manny Pacquiao to Lomachenko. How about comparing Lomachenko to Deontay Wilder? He's topping all of them. Manny, he was full of shit. My shoulder returned at the content move it. Well, he's throwing 100 punches around at Floyd. Floyd like the Matrix. Right? The real Matrix. But then yet something was wrong with him. You seen no scars. You seen no, and really, if you really if you really want to get real about it, the two people they should be comparing is Manny Pacquiao and Deontay Wilder. Because they're more similar than Lomachenko's situation. Lomachenko's manager just fucked himself and talked too much, put his foot in his mouth by making